Yeah, hello and welcome back to the grind. I had this all done, and then I noticed that it didn't record any of it. So here, I'll start again. Anyway, been out for a little spin in the rain, and it's running pretty good, and everything is working reasonably well. I think I'm pretty near ready for inspection time. So anyway, to that end, there'll be something coming up next week for that. This week I did lots of stuff. The first thing I did was underneath here there's the WUR, warm-up regulator, and I did more work on that, and I actually got it to my satisfaction so that the start pressure and the run pressure are good. Then I did a bunch of, like, the back of the car. Remember there was a hole in the tunnel there, so I built a patch for that and put it on and sealed it up well. And then the next thing along was the bushings. Oh yeah, the cover for the timing belt. I installed the cover for the timing belt, and to do that you have to take the alternator. Well, you have to take the water pump pulley off. And so while I was doing that, I took the alternator off and I rebuilt the bushings for. I printed some new bushings for the alternator on my 3D printer, and they make a much nicer, tighter fit on the alternator there. It was pretty floppy because everything in there is rubber. Doggy, don't be on the car. Buster's here helping, right? Anyway, but then I got into fuel problems. So you remember when I did the electrolysis on the tank? So you fill the thing up full of water, and then that's fine. And the electrolysis worked pretty good. But the tank has got a little bit of a hump in the middle of it. So that side of the tank held on to a whole bunch of water. And then when I started driving it a bit and sloshing it back and forth, all this dirt and grime and everything that I didn't think was in there started coming out and going through the fuel filters. So I went through fuel filters like dime a dozen sort of things, right? And they all turned out like that, plugged up. So finally I said, well, got to take the fuel tank out. So I took the fuel tank out and I rinsed it out well, and everything worked out all right, and I put it back in and things seemed to be pretty good. At the same time I put a new fuel pump on it, Chinese make, and it's just as noisy as the old one, so I might just put the old one back on there, which is actually a Porsche type fuel pump. Anyway, that all being said, then I took it for a spin. It was only running on 3 cylinders. I don't know why. Well, I do know why, because the rotor had pulled up and just moved a tiny bit, and it wasn't running quite right. It was a little bit retarded, or likely it was running on 4 cylinders, but retarded. And anyhow, that fixed that. I'll have to look more closely into that in the future. But seems to be going pretty good now, and a little bit of a spin. So stick around, you'll see it all, and the gas tank stuff is interesting. So see you later. Yeah, here I am, another week at the 924, and I started it up and set the cold pressure to like at 1. This is that was at 14 degrees, give or take a bit, Celsius, and cold pressure should be at 1 for that. So I'm going to see what the hot pressure comes to when it warms up. It's warming up a bunch quicker now than it did yesterday. So give it 10 minutes, and then I decided that I'd go with aluminum paint on that. Now the underneath, there's still the brush marks from underneath there. I did sand it off, but could have sanded it more, I guess. We'll worry about that in the future. Yeah, there, it's been running about 20 minutes now and holding steady at about 3.75, 3.75. And then if I turn it on, turn the switch over, I'll get the system pressure, which is right up around 4.5 to 4.6, bouncing around a little bit there. But that's within limitations. It's supposed to be 4.5 till, let's see, 4.5 to 5.2, so I guess we're all right with test pressure, and the adjust value is 4.7. So it might be a little bit low on your adjust value, I don't know. But this thing drops right back down to 3.75, and it started good with a the system pressure was around 1.1 when it started, and it was 14 or 15 degrees. And this thing here says at 14 it should be between 1.0 and 1.4, or what? Yeah. So that's pretty darn close to being right there. We'll just let her be for a while and see how it works out. Yeah, they're running for 20 minutes. I think it's safe to remove this apparatus now for a while, and that's good news. Okay, I'll take off the apparatus and start it up and see how it runs in. Oh, there we go. I'll do the old meltdown test here again. So at 10 minutes it should be at 1.3, I think. That's what it says. Yeah, 10 minutes it should be at way down at the bottom here, 1.3 bar after 10 minutes. And then after 20 minutes it should be like 1 bar, give or take a bit. We'll just see after. Maybe it'll make it to 10 minutes here. We'll see. Yeah, wonder beyond wonders. It's past the 10-minute mark on the meltdown test. So if it stays above I think it's 1.1 after 20 minutes. Wait till I find see if I can see this. Too many stuff in the way as usual. Whoop, what happened there? Disappeared. Now I'll get back to you. Yeah, there you go. 1.1 after 20 minutes. So, and I think I have a 20 cc pressure accumulator. Anyway, whatever. Yeah, after 20 minutes now it's down at 0.246, 0.7 instead of 1.1. So, I'm going to count that as a win. That's close enough for me, eh? So, the meltdown test works, which is residual pressure in the fuel system, and the warm-up regulator starts at the right place and ends at the right place. So I guess I'll be happy with that. The system pressure is at it was around 4.6, right? And that's could be just a tad higher, but the way you do that is right behind. You see this little thing right here? There's you can put some spacers, another spacer in there. I've got 2 spacers in there right now, which brings it to that 4.6. If I put another spacer in, it would raise it. If I took a spacer out, it would lower it. So, and I think that the spacers I have are a little bit too big. I need like a 0.5 millimeter spacer just to make that difference. So I'm going to be happy with what it is for now, and give it some road running and see how it feels after that. Yeah, now here. So I put those 2 little pieces of metal I put in there just to cover up those holes, and I put double-sided tape, double-sided tape, but I only uncovered one side of it, just that foam tape stuff, to a little bit of sealer underneath there. And this thing here, I wonder what that is. Something very important from somewhere. Now, I've got this painted on, aluminum color. I'll put that on, see how I like it. I might have to take it off again sometime and sand it some more. I thought I had sanded it down pretty well, but you still see the brush marks from whatever was on there previous. So I'll just put it on, see how I like the color. I ran out of aluminum colored paint, so that'll be sometime in the future. Now, I've also put those grommets and everything in a very safe place, and of course I can't find them now, but I'll look around and find them. Yeah, now the back seat is back in. Now, I don't think it was ever really meant for anybody to sit in there. There's no seat belts, and I guess seat belts weren't the law for the back seat at that time. But you'd have to be fairly small individual to fit in there. And I don't think it'd be, well, likely it's fairly comfortable, but looks like they've never ever been sat in. And so the that's pretty well together. Now I've got to put these things here on. I'll show you how I do that. I've got the other side pulled off. And now the otherwise this thing, now I have to take off, well, first I'll remove all this apparatus here and put it back to being a normal car. Then next is to be able to get that onto there. You have to take off the pulley for the water pump because it just won't go in otherwise. And if I'm doing that, I might as well pull the alternator off. And what I did was I made little rubber bushings for that. But now that I have that 3D printer, I'll make some ABS print. Like I'll print off some bushings for that thing, and that should make it a better, like a more stable fit in there. Because that thing, everything's rubber. Even the bottom thing is rubber. Like the bottom mount on it is rubber, so it wobbles around quite a bit. So, and I think that alternator is close to the end of its life because I think it's making noises. So I'll just oil up a couple of the bearings on it too. Maybe. Yeah, now that it's got the everything is back to without all that wiring or all that fuel stuff on there. Oh, see if I can get it. See if it'll start again. There, that seems to start all right. Yeah, but it moves out now. Like it takes a while for it to, oh yeah, there it's just starting to smooth out right away. So I think I can be happy with that. I'll let it run for 10 minutes and check back. Yeah, so one of my loyal viewers, Keith, he says that noise would drive him nuts. And he's right, it will. So he did suggest to put some rubber around it. Now when it came originally, it had this little plastic thing around it that, you know, I thought that was maybe to dampen the sound, but that made it worse. So maybe I'll try wrapping it around with a couple of rounds of rubber and see if that'll help it out. If it does, I'll let you know one way or the other. Yeah, there now. It's been running for 10 minutes or so, and the fan's going here, so it's up to temperature. And it seems to be running pretty nice and smooth. I can go do the old clean paper towel business on the exhaust pipe and see how that works out.
Pretty throaty sounding exhaust, eh?
And exceptionally clean. A little bit of soot on there. I don't know if that's from the previous time or not. Let's get a new clean piece of paper towel. Try that again. Hang on a second. I've got an unlimited supply of paper towel here. Here, new and clean. Stick it on there and see what happens.
Yeah, like I say, this isn't a California test, but it gives you an indication
of whether you're burning clean or not. A little bit of soot there, so it's a little bit rich. Oh well, we'll just run her for a while and see how that goes. Yeah, one thing I have forgotten to put on there is the reverse light. I didn't hook it up again. So, hey, remind me of that, will you? We'll see if I can remember. Next time I have it up in the air, I'll hook up the reverse light. Otherwise, it seems to be everything's running pretty nice. So, I haven't found these grommets yet. I know I put them somewhere safe. Safe places are difficult to find. Whoops, there I'm recording. Put these new window sealers in. Had the every place where there was one of those clippy things on the inside, that clippy thing that was right used to be right there came out with the old one, and I don't know. You can't just, once it's out, it's out. And so I marked each one of the clippy things with a piece of masking tape, and then got this trim in there, shoehorned it in, and then used a little rubber mallet and pounded them in, and it seemed to work okay. So they have seated themselves on this side. On the other side, I wasn't so fortunate. They seated themselves kinda, but then they'd keep on popping up when I moved the window up. So what I did here is I put contact cement on the whole thing back and forth, and it seems to be holding down, I think. We'll find out as time goes by. I might have to do something else on it, and we'll just wait and see what happens. I'll give it a day here to set up, and I won't dick with it. Other side, the window goes up and down without any trouble. So we'll just see how it goes. Anyhow, there, new window sealers. That'll keep the rain out of there. And now the only thing I have remaining is to get the grommets for this thing here, which I put somewhere safe. Now, don't you hate it when you put something somewhere safe and then they've disappeared forever, right? So I don't know where they are. I've been looking and looking and looking while I was waiting for the cement to set up, and no luck. Anyway, I'll keep looking. Yeah, so I found that very safe location in this bucket of M6 bolts that will hold it on. Where is it now? It's over here. So those are the rubber grommets. They're a little bit worse for the wear, but they should be all right once I get everything tightened to it. And now I have to take off the alternator and take off that belt there. And then I'll print up some new bushings for the alternator business, and that will make that steadier. Yeah, now I have to make a bushing to go over this and this at the other end, and then figure out I've got all these numbers here, figured out what it's got to do. So it's a little bit in on this side, a little bit in on that side, and then you tighten it up. Okay, I'll see what I can come up. Yeah, there's a little bushing that I printed off, and then it can go right on here. Then this squeezes into the hole up there. Can you see that? Yeah. Squeezes into there, right? And then you put a washer in here. You need another 3 millimeters, 6 millimeters altogether, like so, a washer on either side of it, of the alternator, and it all should slide in there. We'll just find out here soon. Yeah, there, now I've got those bushings on. So the bushing goes on, there's a metal sleeve in the middle of it. Then I put a washer on the other side. I don't know if you can see the washer in there. Maybe you can. Wait a second till I get the camera positioned a bit better. Then there's a washer, and then there's a washer on the other side, and then there's a metal sleeve with the bushing on it again, and I think it's okay. It's all on there. Now I have to put the timing belt cover on that thing. We'll see how that works out. Yeah, that went on. No problem. So now it's got a timing belt cover on it, and that's next thing is to get the this back on and the belt on. That's a bit of a challenge some days. Yeah, so Buster's here and he knows it's time to go back in, right? So, timing chain covers on. That's alternators back on with new bushings that seem to be okay. The belt looks, fairly straight. Maybe it should have that washer, 2 washers at the back and just 1 at the front, but I think I'll leave it be, let it run for a while. I'm not going to start it tonight, I'll start it tomorrow. because it's way past quitting time. It's 7 o'clock already. I usually don't work so late, but don't you know Sam's going to come tomorrow and we're going to fix his car up. So I wanted to make this hopefully running tomorrow. We'll find out if it's running with the with that thing there. We'll find out if it's rubbing on anything, but it looks like it's clear of everything, and so should be okay. Well, that's more last words. Anyway, see you tomorrow. Yeah, here I am. Got the Mini out of my hair, and I pulled the Porsche back in here. Now, ran and started perfectly the other day, but I think that the fuel filter back there is plugged, because it runs and starts for about a second or two and then quits. So I'll have to clean out that fuel filter and then get this light working up here, that light, and then it's I've got another new fuel pump coming for it, a different type than what's in it, so maybe it'll be less noisy than what's in it. We'll just wait and see on that. So I'll get it up on the ramp and just see what the hell is going on with the fuel. Well, that looks like it's blocked up solid, but that looks like it was frozen water there. Must have been some water in it somehow. Anyhow, I'll pull that apart and see about cleaning it out a bit. Good thing I'm having a filter on there. I just put a clamp on here, and then I can take it off. Yeah, whatever it is, it won't flow. Completely blocked. Isn't that something? Well, I guess we gotta put another one on there. Yeah, it's got a bunch of water in it underneath there. You see that pool of murky stuff? That's water. And where is that coming from? I don't know. I'm gonna just let some of this drain into a bucket. That was right out of this line here. It was clear coming out of here. I guess we'll keep on investigating. Yeah, I opened up the drain and let some of this come through, and there's a bunch of water at the bottom of the tank there. I'm gonna just do that again and see what comes out. Yeah, more water in the bottom of the tank, right? So I think what I'll do is I'll drain the tank, then see if I can filter out that water and have good fuel left over. Yeah, there, I've drained the water out of it. The clear of water now, so that's good. Funny, that thing. I think likely condensation from hot, cold around here, hey? So anyway, that'll be good for now. There's no more dirt coming out, and there's no more yuck coming out, so I'll hook it back up. Yeah, there it's running again, and fuel is flowing. That filter there was used before a bit, and had some dirt in it, so I'm going to go get a couple of new clean filters, and then we'll see what comes through after that. Okay, that's an interesting day. Everything sounds okay here, including everything. Alternator's got a bit of a shake to it. Is that a shake in the whole motor, or is that just a shake in the alternator? I think that alternator is, might be past its due date also. Might be that belt is just, well, the way the belt, who knows, eh? I don't know if that's the alternator, or is that everything else around it. A little bit of a shake. Water pump. Pulley's got a bit of a shake, maybe that's causing it. I don't know. I'll just keep an eye on it. Oh, sounds good underneath here though. There's no ticking anymore. That's a nice sounding exhaust too. Yeah, so it must be warmed up enough. Have another look at the fuel filter and see how things are. Yeah, it hasn't changed much. That's amazing how much condensation, how much water there came in there. Oh well, we'll just deal with it. If you fill up the tank, it won't get any condensation in it. So I'll look forward to getting the tank filled up one of these days at the service station. There, I finally fixed that bulb there. I'll show you. First off, parking lights. They're easy, right? So yes, parking lights. There's a light. There's a light. There's a light. There's a light. Ho ho, there's a light. There's a light. There's a light, and there's a light. Yay, they all work. You have to turn on the key for the blinkers. So, blinkers left, flashers left. What's going on in there, right? That one's flashing. And that one's flashing. And underneath there is on. Comes on at night. I'm not sure if it goes out when you do close the hood or not. Now, other side. See if we. Yeah, flashing. Flashing. How about reverse? I haven't checked that since I put everything back together. Let's just see what happens here. If we got it right. That's reverse. Should have lights. Oh yeah, looks like lights. Yeah, reverse, reverse. And these wings here, yeah, two of them are working. Should I check the headlights? Might as well. Everything else going on. There. Headlights came up. One did anyhow. Yeah, both did. So that's one beam. That's the other beam. That one here doesn't work on the other beam. That happened to me before and I forget what it was. But I'll find it out, solve it. I have to remember what was wrong with that last time. It was way in the fuse box, I think, or was it down here? Okay, gotta dig into that. Lights on old cars, eh? Oh well. Anyway, there we go. Must be in here. I think it was in here that the problem was. Either there or there. Yeah, in here I think it was. I'll dig into it and see. Then I checked the rad fluid and it's low. So that's, why would that be low? And then why would there be fluid in the fuel? That doesn't seem right. But I don't know that. There's no way that it could catch from there to the fuel. I guess I gotta get some antifreeze. Yeah, there, it's quitting time for the day anyhow, so I'll do something about this light tomorrow. If I can remember, I'll see if I can go back in my, somewhere in my YouTubes, there might be an answer to that. And there might not. Anyway, we're pretty near ready for inspection, and then we'll get some road miles on it and see what comes apart, eh? Okay, anyway, see you later. Yeah, here I am, back again with the 924. Now I did put some fluid in the radiator, filled it up. I don't remember whether I ever had it filled before or not. Doesn't seem to be leaking anywhere. Oh, there's a drip of water or something right there. Wonder what that's from. I'll wipe it up and I'll wait and see if it gets another one. Anyway, I'm going to go. I bought some of these little filters. I'm going to put a new one back in here and let some more fluid out of there, let some more gas out of there and see if there's any more water in it. And if there is, well, I guess I'm draining the tank. Yeah, so there's a sample of the fuel. There's no water that I can tell in there. You can see it at the bottom if there is, but there's none there. So that's good. And then I just decided I'd put a new filter on anyhow. And that one can go away. I've got 2 more filters for later. Anyhow, I'll run it a bit and see what it does. Yeah, okay, here it is. Up again and running, right? A little bit of dirt came through when I started it up, and I guess I'll run it till the tank is empty. But you see a little bit of water there at the bottom of the fuel filter. I wonder if I should put one of those fuel filters that... Was I pointing the right way, I wonder? Dirt and water. Anyway, I'll run it for a while and just see. If they're going to plug up those fuel filters, I'm going to have to think of a better solution. But what I can do is maybe put one of those ones that with a bowl and a drainage on it so that you can take the water off it, right? I'll think about that. And then that would be, until such time as it clears itself out, which would be more than 1 tank full of gas. It's only ever had a half tank full of gas in it since I got it now. Little one drip right there. Coming out of this thing right here. I'll get my plumb bob and see where that's coming from. Okay. Yeah, so plumb bob, right? Way down there. You do this. Where it hits the ground down there. And look up, straight up, and right there is the overflow, which is coming out of. So that's all right. That's supposed to happen. Yeah, so here I very happily drove the Porsche, right, out to the end of the driveway, and that's as far as I got. Then there's still a lot of water in the tank, so I'm gonna have to drain the tank and separate the water. Okay. I guess we can do that. I'll build a bit of a water separator. Yeah. So the water separation system, that one there, it's got a bunch of yuck in it. Maybe I'll bring the light over and show you that. Right. Again, see down at the bottom of that, there's too many hands, not enough. Too many things to do and not enough hands, eh? Oh, you can see that brown stuff wishing around in there. Now, I don't know what happened. Maybe some water got left over in it when I was draining it from when I cleaned it. Maybe some water was stuck up in something or other and eventually got washed out. There's a couple of, vacuum things up there somewhere. Maybe it was in the lines, vacuum lines somewhere. I don't know. Anyway, there's no point in I wish I knew. I'll just see if I can get it. I'll drain out the water. What it does is settle down in here, and the outflow is right here. So anything below that was full of water. Then I went up the hill and then down the hill, and then of course it all tipped this way and everything went into the filter. So, well, there we go. I'll see if I can do is I'll get it drained out 1 gallon at a time, and then what I do is I take the gallon of fuel, which is Sapporo, vegetable food oil, and then I let it settle for a bit, pour it into here, make sure there's no sediment or anything in there, then pour it through a filter into my 5-gallon bucket. So hopefully I'll get fairly good fuel out of it. Anyway, that would be the process. If it's no good, that'll turn into fire starter, right? Yeah, slow process. I take a gallon. Well, I just take about that much out of here. Then I take it over and transfer it to this thing here and take a look if there's any water in the bottom of it. Then I'll put it in there if it's clear. Well, and it's all pretty murky, so what I'm going to do, I'm not going to put that back in the car. That might go in the lawn tractor. But we'll just carry on until I get all the fuel out, and then I'll take off this bottom plate thing, and can you see this? Right here, that comes out, and then I can stick the vacuum in there and clean it out. Yeah, that's pretty well got it drained. I can hear it gurgling a couple of spots up in there. So I'll just let it gurgle for another bit more. That's about, completely a 5-gallon thing, or 4, what is that? 5 gallons? Yeah, whatever it is. 20 liters. Yeah, 5 gallons. So, and the last bunches that came out, there was no water in any of it, so I just poured it straight in to there. That's going to be lawnmower fuel. I think the lawnmower will handle that all right. And then I've got fresh fuel I can put in here later. Well, we hope anyhow. Oh yeah, well there, now that stuff there was all sitting down below the where the fuel thing goes in. I'll show you the fuel thing. Where is it? I put it over here somewhere safe. So here's where the fuel, like it goes in the tank like that, comes out here. So as soon as it got filled up to that high, now I wonder where that water came from. I bet it was in the system and I didn't get it flushed out properly at the very first. I don't know. That would seem to be an awful lot of water to account from condensation. And it looks pretty murky, like the color that it was when I flushed the tank originally. So I bet you there was a bunch of water left up in some sort of lines up in there. Oh dear. Public enemy number 1. Right here. Or how do you point to it? I can't see. There, right there. Public enemy number 1. Always, I've made so many mistakes, I think I'm going back to start making some more because I learn all that stuff, right? Yeah, there, now I've got that. I wonder if I have a light that'll point in there and you can see this. Hang on a minute till I find my light. Yeah, can't find my light. Yeah, there, put a new O-ring on here, and this hose still serviceable. I'll leave it on there and stick it back in the tank and put it back together and see what comes up next. I'll put new fuel in. This goes right in here. Now you can get a strainer to put on the back of this, but I put the fuel filter in between here. Someday in the future, I will get the strainer to put on there when the thing quits spitting out dirt at me. Okay, that'll be okay. Maybe one of these days I'll even just take the tank off and give it a good swish around with some hardware in there. Yeah, I went out and found my light so I could take a look inside here. I vacuumed. Did I show you? I vacuumed it out with my special vacuum attachment there. Now let's see if we can get a bit of light in here. Whoops. Right up there. Can you see in there? Like it looks pretty good in there. I think it actually is pretty good in there. As far as I can see, it looks okay. I can't really see downward. Maybe you can. Okay. Anyway, that's upward looks okay. Everything on the roof looks good. Okay, well, that's now that I got undistracted and figured out what I was doing. So now I'll put that piece back into it. Yeah, they're running once again, and taking a few minutes to warm up. Maybe zero all the water out of it, right? I don't know how much water was in it, but anyway, I'll put it up and just see what it looks like underneath there now. Hang on, we're going up. Yeah, we're running. Let's go out here and just see how things are looking. I guess that's clear fuel going through there now. Lost of it. I got the thing on backwards. God, I'm dumb. I'm very careful about getting that on backwards, you know. Oh well. See how all the arrows I have on there pointing? This is the right way, dummy. Oh well. I guess I'll just, I love doing things 100 times. I'll just do that once more. Yeah, there. Put the filter on the right way. And just pumping fuel through. Doesn't seem to be sending any dirt along, but we'll just wait and see what comes. I'm going to take it out for a little spin, see if it fills up with water again or something. Shouldn't, because the tank was empty, right? We'll see. See what happens. Yeah, I'm out in the car in the field. Hey. And it seems to be fine. Well, not plugging up anyhow. Second, third, or fifth. I don't know. That might be fifth. I think that's second there. I did a bunch of fast stops to slosh the fuel around in there. The gear shift works very nicely now that I'm sort of getting used to it, and the car feels tight. I think we're okay. I think we got most everything looked after, and there's first and second. Second's pretty high. First isn't that low. Second's pretty high, so we'll just take it back down and put it in the shop again. I'll put it up on the lift and see if anything has changed. See if anything is okay, I'm gonna just shut you off here. Yeah, so I went out and I sloshed the tank back and forth, you know, and did a bunch of jumping around, like put it in reverse, hit the brakes, put it in forward, hit the brakes, put it in reverse, hit the brakes, and then some back and forth and sideways. So I've knocked out a bunch of dirt there, and looks like I'm on the way to the store to get some more fuel filters, right? I might get one of those fuel filters with a bowl on it that the dirt collects in the bottom, and then you can clean it out. That might be a good idea, until such time as it gets everything out of there, because there's still a bunch of stuff in there, obviously. Okay, anyway, but I think we're okay for running it now. It seemed to be fine when it was running. But I will change the filter again. Like I went through a couple of filters today. I think I have another one right here somewhere. Yeah, there's a little filter right there. I can put that one on it for a while. Clean out the other one. Yeah, so I can't get farther than around the driveway before the fuel filter plugs up. And I just made it plug up by going, jerky motion with the car. So I think the next step is, and you've likely been yelling at me for a long time, take the fuel tank out and get it cleaned properly, Lauren. Because I can take it out and then put some hardware in there, shake it around, do a steam clean on it. Because I don't think there's much for rust in it. And if there is, I'll clean up the rust while I'm at it again. So anyway, that would be likely the right answer. Pain in the ass, but right answer. Oh well, there we go. Yeah, here I am with the little car that never ever stops giving YouTube episodes, right? So today I'm going to see if I can get the fuel tank out of it. I'll start at the top here and sort of clean off on the stuff in the back of the car, and then drain the tank and then see where I go from there. I don't like the some models of this car, you have to take the transmission out to be able to get the fuel tank out, but this has got the snail shell type Z transmission, and I think you just have to take all that conglomeration off the back of it, and the hey, once again I get to pull the what do you call that stuff, the exhaust system off of it. So I'm getting good at that, right? Okay, I'll get at it. Yeah, here's this plastic cover here. It looks like there's, well, it's halfway broken, but 8mm bolt here. But I'll just undo this, let the air out of the system. I'll undo these couple of things so that they'll float free, and then see what we have to do from there. Yeah, so, one's got to be a Phillips, the other one's got to be flat, right? Oh, why would they do that? You ever wonder about that? So that one there, what's that, purple and black goes to this one, yellow and black goes to the middle, brown goes to that side. Okay, now I'll put it up and see what we can do out there underneath it. Yeah, there, drained the tank and into this little thing here. I don't know, enough light in there to see that. And no dirt came through there, right? That's the primary filter. Secondary filter is in here. Yeah, no dirt at all came out through the filter, through that. So must be all settled out pretty good in there, but as soon as you rock the car, then it starts getting somewhere. So I think it just needs a good rinsing out, which I will do. But you got to take the tank out to do that. Yeah, I suppose I could have done it, and I thought about doing it when I was doing the electrolysis on the tank, but at that time it was 100 degrees below zero outside, and there was no way to run any hose to it without freezing the water supply everywhere. So I decided not to. Maybe, but now looks like it's warm enough to run a hose. Okay. Yeah, you've all seen me take the exhaust system out before. There it is, right there. Now I've got to take this part off the back of here, and I think I have to take this heat shield off of here. Don't know how that's held on for sure, but we'll find out soon. A couple of bolts up front there. We'll see. Yeah, there's the heat shield off the back there. 3 bolts. 2 at the front and 1 at the back. You have to sort of reach up over the top of it to get the one at the back. I'll show you where it was. Right up in here, and it goes into that bit there, so you reach over the top and get it. And then the other two are here, and then that uncovers this bolt here, which is a strap for the gas tank. Now I think I'll just point that out, lighten right here. So I'll just unhook this hose here, and then I think I can drop that tank. See what happens. Yeah, there, I've got it sort of hanging here precariously. Now it's still got quite a bit of gas in it because, see this hump in the middle? All this started over here is likely just full of yuck and corrosion and stuff that never ever got out of it. Now I gotta see how if I can get this out of here somehow. It must have gone into there, so it has to come out of there. So I think I have to unhook up above there now. So I'll go above and see if I can get that hose and stuff out of there. Ah, come on. Oh well, nothing's cooperating. Yeah, that was difficult, hey? And not a very graceful landing. This thing here had it jammed up in there, and it just a silly hose was jammed on there. And so anyhow it fell out. But I'll see if I can do better getting it back in. Now it's got a rubber pad that it sits on here. Well, you likely can't see anything underneath there. And that's the wiring for the, what's that? That's the wiring for the tank, right? That goes up there. This hose here is a vent hose of some sort, right? And then the reason that it was holding fuel was that side there never ever comes up above there. Wonder, like, what's the point in having that side like that if it's always full of fuel? Anyway, there we go. I guess you could tip the car on its side to get more fuel into it. Yeah, I try my hardest not to spill everything everywhere, but then I spill everything everywhere. So anyway, that's a pretty dirty mess in there with a bunch of water still. So all that water was hiding over on that side of the tank. I'll clean this up and then we'll get back to it. Okay. Yeah, I guess that yuck there would have filled up a few more fuel filters on me. So now it's all out and I've drained it from bottom and top, cleaned up my mess, right? It smells suspiciously like fuel in here. So I'm going to go and get the power hose, whatever you call that thing, the power washer, and see if I can wash it off on the outside, number one, and number two, wash it off on the inside. I think that, you know, it looks like it's pretty clean, like in here. I don't know, you can't see that because you can't see that. I'll see what we can do about getting to see that. In there, like, that's where it was all electrolysis. Now there's a little bit of surface rust on it, but it's not bad. And down in there, I'll rinse it out well and just see how it looks. That's coming up. I might be able to get that back in there today if I'm lucky. Yeah, so I've got the tank outside and the pressure washer, and I think the water's running now. I turned it on up there. We hope it's going to run. Yep, it's going to run. That's a good sign. Yeah, got water. So I'll get this thing set up and see what I can do about that. Yeah, there now I've got the water all over this thing. Anyhow, I pressure washed it off on the outside and I sprayed inside as much as I could. And now I'm going to just fill it up until it gets up to there. Uh-oh. Yeah. Fill it up until it gets filled up, and then I'll what am I trying to say? Then I'll swish it around a bunch and we'll figure it out from there. Sounds like some air is coming through the line there. Yeah, so wastewater city, right? Anyway, that's all the ucky rust and stuff that was in there. I think I've got it cleaned. I should have done that in the first place, but like I said, it was 40 below outside and didn't want to be, and I would have just been freezing and likely a very frustrating experience. So I'm going to turn it over, fill it up with water again, and then dump it and maybe do it again. There, that That's clean inside there. You can tell right here it's pretty damn clean. Wait a minute, I'll get my light and we'll have a peek inside if we can. I don't know, can you see anything in there? There. Like that's sparkling clean down there. That's nice, and I think the whole thing is like that on the inside because I did the electrolysis on it for quite a while. I just left all that debris in there. I didn't get it out properly, being the smart guy that I am. Okay, now, let me see. Next is turn off the light. Then I'll think about it. I want to vacuum it out. I'll turn it so the water is sitting right here. Any water left in it, and I'll vacuum it out with my very special attachment on the vacuum. And then after that, I'll put the heat gun in there and let it dry out. Yeah, so now got the heat gun going in there. I've got the bottom plugged. I've got this thing here, you know, a little bit plugged. Then most of the heat is coming out this thing right here, or out this one here, which I want it to blow through there because there's still some water swishing around in there somewhere, and hopefully we'll just evaporate it with the heat gun. I'll give it a good hour of heat gun business. That ought to warm it up all right. Yeah, so I just ran over it with a coat of paint while that heat gun's going. And then I'll put on, like, it takes contact cement here, and here I think, right there, for where the strips of rubber go back on. I'll get that done once that paint's dry. Yeah, there I've painted both sides and glued the stuff back onto it, right? Now, this thing here, I think I'm ready. I got this pushed up out of the way, and hopefully that'll slide in there reasonably easy. Well, nothing's reasonably easy with this car, right? Anyway, we'll see if we can get that back in there, but I'm gonna just let that sit and dry for a while, then I'll come back to it. Yeah, so I went into town and got another gross of filters, and then the Amazon guys showed up with this thing here. Fuel pump, right? Made in China. I don't know if this one would be any better or any worse, but it comes with a rubber thing around it. Not as thick as that one, but I like to use this thing here that came with one other fuel pump somewhere. I think it came with that one right there. Put that over it. Whoops. Yeah, like that. And that'll all go in there. See what happens. I'll try it out. If it doesn't work, well, it doesn't work. Yeah, so this one here got your $5 overhaul with a can of black paint. That just covered up so it won't rust, but it's galvanized anyhow, so, you know, not going to rust. We hope. Yeah, there now. I've got that kind of lifted up into place here. Wait, I'll back up a bit here so you can see. Kind of lifted up into place. And I put a tarp strap on it here just to hold it whilst you have to put that hose on right there. And then this hose here has to point up towards in there. So maybe we'll be able to get it up into shoehorned in there. We'll see. Yeah, so those hoses are pointing in kind of the right direction. This one here has to come up through there. I've got that pushed up the pipe as far as it'll go, so it'll be out of the way. And then this one here comes in on that side, and out on that side, and goes up around that little hooky thing up here. I guess it's supposed to be up high like that. Yeah, so I gave it a heave-ho, and don't you know, away it went. Now I have to there's a plastic thing that goes behind here, but I thought I'd just hold it up there temporarily whilst I check at the top end, because I haven't done anything with this one yet. And then it's got to have a strap along there too. So I think it's got to move that way a tiny bit, but we'll get to there. That way a tiny bit. Okay, I'll go upstairs, up on top, and check it out. Yeah, it looks like got it right up here. This pipe will go on to here,
And then this little pipe here goes down and it's hooked on already down there. And whatever it hooks on to the other end, it goes up and goes over the top of that. Must be like a vent thing or something. Now, I'll see if I can get that plastic stuff down below in there. It's got to have these rubber straps on the holder things and these rubber gummy things on where the strap goes over. Did I see that? Yeah, these things. There's two of these on the side of it too that go up, but they're all ready. Anyway, I'll see what I can do. Yeah, there. Now that's strapped in and tight, and the straps are in the right spot. I was able to just put a little pry bar right in there and push it over like a 1/4 inch is all I wanted. Make this strap come into the middle of there, and make this strap come into the middle here. Well, it doesn't have any middle here, it just has a little tiny indentation there. Anyway, so that's in on the lower part here. I haven't hooked up anything there yet. No fuel lines hooked up yet. So now I'll let it down and see if I can get stuff on the inside done. See what happens there. Yeah, there. Now that's tightened up, and the one in there, I thought it'd be impossible to get to, but it's not impossible, it's very improbable, and it's tight. So, and then that hose goes up over the top like it used to. So, and there's a tie wrap there for whatever reason, I don't know. But I'll just leave it there. Well, maybe I'll take it off. I don't know if there's any reason it should be there. Okay, now I put this fuel sensor in here and I'll put that on where it goes. Yeah, so the only thing I had to remember was the yellow and black went to this one, to the middle. Then the ground is brown, and this one here is the sensor that says, hey, low fuel. Yeah, there, that's all back together. I don't know if there was ever a bolt holding it up there, but down here there was, and I'll make a little piece of metal to go in there and just hold that down flat, and that'll be fine. Anyway, but I made the piece of metal, and I put a bit of paint on it, so I'm just waiting for it to dry up here so I can take it away. Anyway, now next on the list is up in the air it goes, whilst I wait for that stuff to dry. And I'll start hooking up stuff down below here. I think that I'll finish it up tomorrow sometime, but I'll do a little bit tonight. Yeah, okay, everything's back together. I put a new fuel pump. See the arrow pointing that way? That's the way it's got to go. Yay. Fuel pump, it's got a little rubber gasket around it. Then this is my other fuel pump, the lift pump. And wires hooked up, I hope. Right. Fuel return line is on here. Fuel line goes from here to the lift pump through the filter, from the lift pump to the bottom of the high pressure pump, and then out into that's the accumulator there, and then up over the top and up to the front it goes, and the main filter's at the front. So I don't think I've screwed up the main filter at all. Anyway, that's all for today. I'll finish it up tomorrow, I hope. We'll just see how it goes. Yeah, here I am back at it again. Good Friday. What did you do on your Good Friday? I put a muffler system onto a Porsche 924. Anyway, finishing up the gas tank stuff. I put my little piece of metal on there so it holds that down tight. And there's a little piece of plastic that was in it, right? Anyway, I'll go underneath and get the muffler and stuff on. Then I'll see about putting gas into it. Yeah, there. That's all back on and tight. 3 bolts here. I put a bit more of that goopy stuff behind there. 2 bolts here that hold from the hanger, and then it hangs on this thing here. So that's I think everything's there now. Everything
Yeah, everything's hooked up now. So I'll put the wheel back on. Well, I won't put the wheel back on right away till I get the gas flowing and then see what's happening. Okay, time to put fuel in it. Yeah, there, I put the fuel back into it. Let's see if it runs, will we? I have to fix this one of these times soon. Don't know how yet, but that's coming to a YouTube near you, maybe. Oh, keys are in the back window. Oh, yeah. There. Should get another key cut for this thing too. Anyway, it's just a Volkswagen blank, eh? Well, it sounds like it's got. Oh. There we go. Fuel gauge says it's got fuel. Let it warm up for a few minutes. See how things work out. After it warms up, you can tell if it's running right after it warms up. That's a quiet fuel pump anyhow. Looks like fuel is moving. Very quiet fuel pump. That's nice. Hang on, I'll put it up in the, well, I'll let it warm up before I put it up in the air because I'll get it up there and it'll stall and I'll have to bring it down and blah blah blah. Anyway, watch the paint dry here. There we are. Sounds a bunch quieter than that. Like it's not completely noiseless. But no dirt. Little tiny bit of dirt. Doesn't look like anything's leaking, so must be good. I'm gonna put the fuel pressure stuff on there and just see what we're getting now with this fuel pump for system pressure and everything like that. Might be slightly different than the other fuel pump. Sounds alright. Still makes noise, but not nearly the same howl as the other one. So anyway, I'll put a link to that fuel pump in my description. I'm going to carry around the other one, the old one, for a spare, just in case. It'll take about 10 minutes to change the fuel pump if you really have to. But it sounds alright. Sounds like everything's good. I was out driving it in the mud, eh? Oh well. Okay, I'll bring it down. I'll put on the fuel pressure test stuff and check the system pressure and check it all that. And I'll put the wheel back on, and we'll go from there. Yeah, you're familiar with this thing here. So I'll let it get up to operating temperature, which would be at 3.8 it was before. See if it goes back up to 3.8. Then I'll check the system pressure. Oh, got it on backwards. Okay, well, I'll just take it apart and do it again. Yeah, so it's been running long enough to get up to operating pressure, which is 3.65 or 3.7. Steady like a rock. So I can be happy with that. Now, I'm just going to shut it off and check the residual pressure, and then I'll turn this around the other way and check the system pressure. Yeah, so now I'll just watch paint dry for another 9 minutes and 20 seconds whilst this thing here settles out. And it should be at 1.3, I think. Yeah, after 10 minutes it should be at 1.3. After 20 minutes it should be at 1.1. So that would be, hang on a minute. Yeah, so here we are. So 1.3 is, that's 1.2 is that line right there. 1.2 is that line right there. 1.3 is about halfway between those two lines. 1.1 is just past the 1 mark, right? Okay. What's going on? 8 minutes and 28 seconds. What suspense? Yeah, there are 9 minutes and it's at 1.3. Now I think the residual pressure is mostly for hot start situations. So it saves some residual pressure and make it easier to start up when it's hot. So I'll take that, like there it's at 1.2 right now and dropping after 10 minutes, and well, there's 44 seconds left. So pretty close for this old thing. And then it's down below 1.1 now, which is what it's supposed to be at 20 minutes. So I guess I'll just have to live with it the way it is. Yeah, so there now I've got it set up properly to test residual pressure. So to test system pressure, to test operating pressure from the warm-up regulator, which in most cars is behind there. You have this little valve open, but it's got to be, the valve has to be behind after the pointing up here, after the pressure gauge. So then when you close that valve, it stops. It doesn't stop anything from happening back there, but it does stop this here, and then it checks just direct pressure, what they call system pressure, which is controlled by that little bolt in there, right there. So like you can put, difficult to see, you can put some shims in there to either increase or decrease it. I think I don't know which way it works, but you have to experiment and see what happens. Yeah, there it's back and running. I'll let it get up to pressure, to operating pressure, and stop that from leaking. Yeah, so this little bolt in here, or that little thing there, if you put in another shim, it gets higher system pressure. Take out a shim, it gets lower system pressure. Yeah, I think I stopped the leak here. Anyway, 3.8, that's at operating pressure, 3.75, 3.8. Then this should be going up to, yeah, that's between 5, and like it should be at between 4.7 and 5.2. So it's at 4.8 there, or 4.5 and 5.2. I'll look up the numbers. But it's at 4.8, so I think that's fine. And then it drops right back down to 3.8 for operating. So all is good with the new fuel pump. So I'll just let it go for a while. Yeah, so there now it's system test value is 4.5 to 5.2, which is what it's at. Adjust value 4.7 to 4.9, which is exactly what it's at. So we're good right there. 1.3 after 10 minutes, 1.1 after 20 minutes. We didn't quite pass that, but we're all right. And it's running between, it's running about 4 to 3.8, which is about right. Yeah, it's just below 3.8 on there. So I guess everything's okay on the system pressures, or the fuel pressures. Yeah, now a little bit slow picking it up, but once it picks up the rev, it's fine. So I guess we'll be happy with it the way it is for now. There you go. That'll be that. Yeah, this time it passed the meltdown test with flying colors. 10 minutes has gone by, and it's still at 1.246, 1.6, 1.7. Give it another 10 minutes, That was 10 minutes there. Yeah, there, 20 minutes has gone by and it's at 1.5. Where am I pointing? It's up at 1.5, so that passed with flying colors there. Wonder why it passed this time and didn't pass last time. Oh well. Likely it's one of them, it's an old car. So I'll be happy with it the way it is. There we go. I think that most everything is looked after. That signal light's working. This high beam light works intermittently. So I was in and underneath the dash shaking stuff around, and there's just a loose connection underneath there, which I'll get after one of these days. The window trims, I did get them on reasonably well. It's not perfect down at the back here, but we'll fix that up as it goes. Now I think everything is good on it except for that one headlight. And let's go and see if we can take a spin out in the yard. See what happens. Yeah, there, it's running. Yeah, and that fuel pump does make just as much noise as every other fuel pump I've had in it. So I guess that's how it is. There's, well, it doesn't make it quite as much, but I've got my little radio delete in there, back in the grind, and see about going for backing out and have a ride. Yeah, will you stay there without falling over, do you think? We'll just see. this once more, will we? So, what happened, somehow the rotor had popped up and just slipped a little bit off its spot. And weird. So I'll be checking into that down the road. But now it's running on all four. Noisy, that thing there. Grind a couple up for you too. Anyway, there you go. Seems to work. The heater's working full blast. I'll have to figure that how to figure out the heater. There's third gear. There's fourth gear. Yeah. Never will make it to fifth gear in this ride. Oh, it's raining on me. Second gear. Yeah, so I'll put it in the shop and then that'll be it for this episode anyhow, eh? We'll explore those other little things. I think for the most part everything's okay for motor vehicle inspection. I'll get a couple more grinds for you too. But that fuel pump there isn't any better than the one that was in it before, so might have to change back to the other one and see if it's any quieter than this one. There. So, hope you enjoyed it all, and we'll see you next time. Bye for now. Yeah, foggy day today. Lots of water flowing in the ponds. My bridge might float away here if it gets much bigger, much deeper. Oh, lots of seaweed up on the shore. Can't even see to the cliff today. March 29th? Yeah, maybe. Maybe one of these days the sun will come out and it'll stop raining.